Good evening guys, how are you all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening wrap up. So we will go straight over to those charts. Right, here we go. So not a lot has happened today. Other than really we've not been able to get above 9,200, which is in itself telling. In itself is not a very good scenario. We're on a daily here, but if we go over to the 4 hour, what you can see is we pretty much looking like we are gonna we just had a bounce, a weak bounce off this support, and potentially we are gonna come back down and well, probably take out this support and then end up trading lower and turn that support into resistance. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to me from these charts. It's just looking weak. I can't imagine there's going to be any real catalysts over the weekend to get us to move up. As I have been saying, we have basically been following stock markets, and stock markets have still been particularly strong, and Bitcoin's not really managed to even get back up to anywhere near 10k. So I kind of think that obviously shows a bearish bias to Bitcoin. And then it also tells me that if we eventually do then get a move down in stock markets, Bitcoin's going to get absolutely hammered. But yeah, that's kind of how it looks to me. Yeah, I mean, I can't see us not getting, at the moment, I can't see us not getting down to 8,600 area, this zone. Some wicks below maybe, like we got wicks here. And then, yeah, try and get supported here. And then try and make a move back up. But if we do fail there, then it will be a case of just a macro reversal, fully confirmed on even the highest time frames, really, apart from maybe the monthly. And then we'll just be making our way down. This is obviously 8,600. This will be the next logical level, around 8,000, and then this around mid 7,000s, and then, well, near enough mid 6,000s. Obviously at any point on this route, we can consolidate and turn around, but I think the most likely level, I mean, as you can clearly see from recent price history, the most likely level is going to be this level here, around 7,000s. So that's what we've got. That's what's really at stake at the moment. If we break and close below this this basic level here, this 8,600 level, then yeah, I mean, realistically we've got to be looking for low 7,000s, and hope that reverses us. Because obviously once the trend is down, one thing that I've learned from Bitcoin is once it gets a trend, be that up or down, it can just go on and on and on and on, further than you expect. And I often find that in a lot of markets, not as much since I adapted my thought process, but I often found it I often found it before that markets would just trend a lot longer than I thought they would. The price would keep going up a lot higher and further than I thought, or the price would go down a lot further or lower than I thought. And Bitcoin is that like times 10. So if we do turn around and start to come down, then I wouldn't like to have to predict a level that we are gonna basically get supported at. This would be my best guess, but I mean, look what happened here. I mean, we came down really hard. I know obviously all markets did, and it was the crash that we had in all markets, and I get that. So maybe not this hard. Maybe this isn't necessarily how price action will always move. But if we do go back to the drop from 6,000, come on. It's because I'm on a 4-hour time frame. That's why we go to daily. And then we do. I mean, if we this drop was clearly savage and was obviously to do with everything crashing. But this is still a really big drop down here. And if you kind of look at the tightening formation here, there are differences with these tightening formations and low volatility. Well, there's not differences between the low volatility tightening formations. There's just differences where we are in the overall macro trend. Here we are pretty much in the middle of the trend with an absolutely perfect descending triangle. Here we are sort of at the top of a trend with no real massive macro formation like we've got here to look at, other than the trend line we've got coming in. But my point is, this is where we get big moves. These sorts of tightening that you can see are where we get the big moves from, like the big move we had from there, even the big move we had from there. Yeah, the big move from there. These are how big moves are made, basically. And I mean, is it going to be up or is it going to be down? I mean, I feel like down is just easier. Down would make this formation just stay within the formation, would just be business as usual. Up would be something completely new, would be completely out on a limb. Bitcoin price action would be completely out on a limb based on its price action since late 2017. And it's like, that's a big leap. Coming down to around 7,000 just is not a big leap. It wouldn't, like, you just would look like the rest of the price action. So I mean, yeah, it's a big decision for it to make. Will it make it? I don't know. It isn't looking good. It isn't looking good is what I will say. And the weekly Stokes have clearly got to be weighing on the situation. They have got to be. 2-day Stokes pretty bearish as well. Daily Stokes sort of turning around, but I mean, if we stay down here, these sorts of levels, I can't see them starting to move back up. 12-hour Stokes, our main one, is a fast approach in this trend line that we were looking at. So if it gets, this could be the trigger. This could be the trigger for the big move down, and this could happen over the weekend. This 12-hour Stokes could turn around over this weekend. 4-hour Stokes looks like it's even turning back down again, and then we've got, I mean, we saw the 5-day, the 2-day, and the weekly. So what do you think is the most likely scenario? We've not got an absolute massive rally in the stock markets to potentially help us. Weekend Wall Street will obviously help us, but if you want my opinion, if you want my pure speculative opinion, I think we're going to have issues in the US tomorrow with the 4th of July. I think we're going to have big problems. That's my gut feeling, and I don't think those problems are going to reflect well in the stock market. I know nothing really brings the stock market down at the moment, but these sorts of things can do, and I just feel like we're going to have a lot of stuff kicking off. And I think over this weekend Wall Street is going to be capitulating. I don't like to call short stocks. I mean, I'm just calling this just because of the increasingly crazy situation that's going on in the US, and how it is their Independence Day, and it's just, I just can't see it going by without there being mass unrest or mass disturbances somewhere, and how that relates to Bitcoin is it's going to be a drag on the stock market, and therefore going to be a drag on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's looking weak anyway. I mean, Bitcoin's got big resistance. It just can't get through. The strong stock market just isn't cutting it so far as dragging Bitcoin out. I get it. Bitcoin and stock market don't have to be related. That's fine, but correlated. But whilst they are. So we just have to accept that fact. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Looking at it on the weekly. This is very much like looking like just a proper rejection of this trend line, and it's just looking like we are going to come down. And yeah, what could be the catalyst especially over this weekend? What could be the catalyst is increased amount of social unrest, unfortunately. So this is the box that we're in. This is the box we've got. I mean, it doesn't have to be that we break out the bottom, but all I'm seeing is just two dominoes. Two dominoes. This one being a very, like, it's just going to fall over without even being pushed, as in breaking through this level, this domino falling, and then coming down to here. I mean, do I see 8,600 holding? If I had to put a balance of probabilities guess, which I think is more likely, yes or no, then I think the likely answer is no, it isn't going to hold. And then we just get into the whole case of how far and how fast does Bitcoin go? I mean, Bitcoin can really move when it gets its move on, and this, once we do break below here, all the people that have been buying up here, okay, let me try and explain this in a better way. If you look at these moves up here, to these highs, they've been like inverted V-shaped down. So not a lot of people were buying and accumulating and buying at these levels. Okay, at these levels, not a lot of people were. We have been in this range now for a long time, threatening to potentially break up, with stock markets going to the moon, with currency printing going to the moon, with precious gold going to the moon, with everyone thinking, when Bitcoin's going to go to the moon too? Yeah, yay. So people have been accumulating in these levels. So if once we confirm that we aren't going up, which we will below this level, this is a lot of people that are going to have to get out their positions. These are a lot of people that are going to hit those stops, that are going to basically liquidate those positions. And that's a lot of selling, that is, guys. This is a lot of selling. This is arguably the most amount of selling at this trend line. Well, it's not arguably. This is the most amount of buying, at this trend line that we've had ever at this trend line. So that is a lot more people. So if that doesn't give us the potential to absolutely dump all the way down to the bottom of the line, the bottom of this pennant, like below 6,000, then yeah, I mean, you have to accept the fact that it does, which for me then sort of tells me that, I mean, this level here, we call it this range here. This range here is as close in my mind as certain to get hit if we take out and close below 8,600. Then yeah, as close to certain as I could realistically get for an actual trade for such a big move in an asset. Obviously, I mean, obviously certainties in trading aren't obviously ridiculously high, and you only really need to have an edge. You don't need to have like a massive, do you know what I mean, certain that you're right all the time. But there wouldn't be, it was the last time I was this certain about something, about us breaking below here, getting down to here, this range, was when we did break down from this descending triangle. And at that point in time, back way back when, back in 2018 it was, wasn't it? Oh, alright, let's go to the daily. Yeah, 2018. I was literally telling everybody, this is going to break down. This is the descending triangle. This is going to break down. I had never been more certain. I was shorting, thinking it was going to break down here. But I was low leverage shorting at that time. I wasn't as aggressive with my trading as I could have, as I developed into over time. But this wick here, I got like properly short on this wick up, this tether debacle wick, when people were moving out of Bitcoin into tether. And I just remember, and I remember it coming down, and I remember selling more, and I was thinking, wow, that was an opportunity, that was a gift that's coming down. And then I was still stuck in the position for a while. Then we faked down, and then I sold some more here, and then we came back up again, and eventually we capitulated. But my point is, I'd never been so certain that we were going to break down than I was. I've never been so certain of something happening than I was at this point. And the only time that I'm getting close is now. It's realistically is here. If we break down below this 8,600 level, I am certain as I was going to break down, which is obviously not 100%. It's probably 75% certain that we're going to get down to here. So yeah, I mean, that's what I see. I don't necessarily see anything spectacular here. You've got to also remember, we're in a financial crisis. Money's been printed hand over fist, and I know you get the people that say, well, this is great for Bitcoin, you can't print Bitcoin. But listen, right, the financial system is under massive strain, and it's under a massive threat of basically falling apart. So do you think Bitcoin is going to be allowed to flourish and basically make inroads into the world's financial system that the global elites and the central bankers control, and they don't really control this, and they can't really control this as easy as they control the system. They will just ban this, have laws against this. I mean, there was the cryptographic communications law that's basically come out in the US, saying that WhatsApp messages and Facebook can't basically have like encrypted communications built into their messages, and this will leak into cryptocurrency. Like you won't be able to, they'll be illegal. They can be illegal. And I'm telling you, if the financial system starts to break down, like it is very close to doing, whether it does or not, I don't know whether it will or not. I've got my views, but realistically no one can say whether it will or not. But if it does, they're not going to let you fly into Bitcoin and Bitcoin be the savior, and Bitcoin basically be what we all then go to, something that they don't control, they can't control, honest, proper, hard money. It's not gonna be allowed to happen. So Bitcoin's not got that going for it. It's the exact opposite of what a lot of people think. The stock market crashing is proven it was not good for Bitcoin. The financial system collapsing, I'm telling you now, is almost definitely not going to be good for Bitcoin. The only good thing for Bitcoin is a functioning financial system with people making money, people having spare money, and being able to pump that into speculative assets such as Bitcoin. So right, that's it. That's the end of my rant today. That's my end of my very negative rant on Bitcoin. I mean that it's just a realist view of it, a realistic view of the situation. So yeah, so right, so on that note, guys, yeah, so thanks for listening. Remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys in the morning.